Yo, 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 guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Warriors Invitational. It's your boy Gotham with my boys Matt and Chuck. Gentlemen, this is not the episode we thought we would be recording today. Warriors, Rockets, maybe, yeah, Matt, you kind of called it a little earlier, but Warriors, Rockets sadly has gone to a game seven, to the despair of Warriors fans all around. Warriors lose game five. Kind of saw that one coming. A little, uh, classic road game on the game to play with. Warriors got beat pretty badly in Houston, but last night just a brutal L. Just kind of collapsed in the fourth quarter. But the Rockets really kind of had control of that game from wire to wire. But game seven, man, how we feeling, Chuck, Matt? Game six last night. What thoughts there, man? Chuck's there. Talk to me.
Well, yeah, that was not what you want to see. I mean, it's one thing when you have, like you said, the game five. We've seen them lose that game three times on the way to the 2022 championships. You're like, all right. I mean, coming out unmotivated and getting your ass kicked in one game isn't ideal, but you can weather the storm. Um, and now you've come up like, yeah, it was close for a lot of that game, and then you just completely fell apart in the fourth quarter. I think they shot 2 for 18. Missed 11 wide open threes in the single quarter, and Rockets just ran away with it. They didn't have an answer for the zone. They didn't have an answer for the two big lineup. And now it's like all the momentum's with Houston. They're headed back home. Warriors have really just blown it for two games in a row. And, the really annoying part is that Jimmy and Steph, like, turned it around, played well. We know they're hurt. Um, they just have no one else stepping up right now. And that's the frustrating part. And that's what makes you not feel great about game seven.
Yeah, man. Matt, how you feeling? You were a little bit more skeptical, especially with that game five kind of shit show. I know a lot of people were calling it kind of Chuck, like you said, kind of like similar to the 2022 season. That Memphis game really stood out to a lot of people. But Matt, you were pretty hell bent on saying, yo, guys, this is not the same. And shit, man, you were right on that one.
Hate being right, man. Listen, I get it. This team has a track record of pulling shit out of their asses. But there used to be more shit to pull out, right? I just think this is probably the worst for what it counts for, the worst offensive team of the, competitive Steve Kerr era. That's maybe an overstatement, but it's just there's no sense of any kind of shooting or self-creation beyond their two best guys. And that's just kind of why, like, listen, the Rockets play good defense, and in a rock fight, anything can happen. That game five game, the Warriors, again, whatever you want to say, if you want to say they threw it or didn't give their best effort because they knew they were going home, I think that's hubris, to be honest. I went back to the Bay in game six and didn't get it done. And they're tired. They look tired. This is kind of the worst case scenario. We all talked about this before the series even got started, but it's someone else has to step up, right? And that's the thing about this group is, with all due respect, like there's not in 2022, pardon me, you had four guys, right? You had Steph, you had Poole, you had Wiggs, you had Clay, obviously, right? You had Otto Porter, and you had Bielitsa, and those guys. First of all, you might hear that list and be like, that's a totally different tier of offensive talent from guy to guy. But the point is, every single one of those guys could put the ball in the hoop in some capacity, right? Or had some sense of like, hey, put the ball in my hands and I can make something happen. Porter, of course, was lights out at various moments in the playoffs. The Warriors have nothing analogous to Porter on this team. Um, Poole, for all his faults, is like a legitimate 22 to 25 point per game scorer in this league when he's at his best. Clay's Clay. Like this team, I'm not going to disparage Buddy. I think this team does not win games three and four without Buddy Hield. So I'm not here to like tear him up. But my whole point is like this team doesn't have what that team had after game five in Memphis, right? They don't have the firepower to just come back out and, blow the doors off someone. They're not gonna blow this Houston team out or a lot of teams out on that note, right? They're not dynamic enough of an offense to do that. And so if guys three, four, and five aren't hitting shots, and on this team that's moody, that's pods, that's Buddy. It's gonna be really hard to win. Um, and that's why I just felt like this was more like a Sacramento series. This team's older, right? Sacramento, they played their food the first couple of games. Gotham, you kind of pointed out the specific games, right? But this, I just don't trust these motherfuckers. They're not what they once were. That's not a bad thing. I think Steph and Jimmy are probably going to play their asses off on Sunday. Um, but truth be told, I don't think it's going to matter if their role players play the way they played today or yesterday.
Yeah, I mean that's just been the most disheartening part about the last couple games is the Warriors for when they were playing well, all the role guys were stepping up. Paz was having 20-point per game nights. Moody was having 20-point per game nights. You could trust at least somebody, and it felt like post trade, like there was always just another guy that'd step up, and that's always been the kind of ceiling with this team. Like Steph and Jimmy can only take you so far. Draymond's been a zero on offense. Gary Payton's been a zero on offense since whatever game 5 and 6. Moody, had a couple good shots yesterday, but nothing, that earth shaking to, kind of say. So the fact that, you're in these games and look, man, for all intents and purposes, that game, they were down by 2 going into the fourth quarter. So I don't even want to hear about like, hey, there's a bad shooting night, but you were right there in that game. And then that 4-point play happened. And then you pretty much just like gave up, couldn't score for whatever it was, 6 minutes. You're not beating anybody. You're not beating the Charlotte Hornets in 2025 if you don't score for 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. So, I'm not like, again, like yesterday's game, it felt like the Warriors were trending on kind of one of those games where like, hey, kind of hang around, and then fourth quarter we have that kind of knockout punch. Didn't happen. And again, like you said, Matt and Chuck, you guys both said it. A lot of these shots are wide open. Like these are your
They're
NBA
getting great
players.
looks. They're
You're
getting
getting
great
great
looks.
looks.
We had
And
11
so
open threes in the fourth quarter, man.
all the talk about the Rockets are a great defense. You're forcing them into misses and you're getting good shots. You can't rebound the ball and you can't hit open shots. That's what this series has come down to. The games they won, they were able to do that in some semblance, get out in transition and run. But look, man, the Rockets are not a great shooting team and they've been on a heater the last 2 games. Fred VanVleet's whatever, 16 for 23 or some shit on his threes. It's throwback to 2019 Fred, but look, I mean, you can't, and that's the thing with a game 7. They might just continue being this hot. You'd think that the law of averages would come in, the Warriors would shoot better, the Rockets would shoot worse. But again, that's the downside of going into a game 7. You never know what's going to happen. It's one game. You're one, Jabari Smith or Fred VanVleet Magnet ball game away from going home. So, which is what the last couple games have been. So. Pivoting a little bit to game 7, man, like where's your guys' panic meter at? Because after last night, honestly, I can't blame a lot of Warriors fans. It feels like last night felt like, hey, this is the end of the season. So, talk to me, guys. Matt, Chuck,
I don't
Matt,
even want to
start us
use the
off, man.
word.
I'd love to hear where your
Sorry,
panic.
Chuck. I don't even want to use the word panic. 'Cause at this point, it's like to put me out of my misery meter. And if that's the meter, it's fucking high, man. Like, please, just like if they lose, I'm gonna be bummed. I'm gonna be in hell for however long. The game tomorrow might be 3.5 hours long, depending on the referees, right? But however long that game goes, I'm gonna be in agony. Um, I mean, who knows what happens? Obviously, when they get into a series, we tend to feel more optimistic, right? Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, and Draymond, like maybe exclude for now, but if they lose, I'm going to be somewhat at peace again. This is starting to feel like the Warriors of yesteryear in some ways. But listen, jokes aside, as far as like, oh shit, might they lose? Yeah, I'd say it's a 50-50 toss up. I don't know what the odds are yet. I would bet it's
I think the
close to even
Rockets are
money.
-2.5, so
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much a toss up, home
Yeah.
game.
So, and that doesn't surprise me at all, right? This is one of those things where like, you got to make shots. It's kind of just comes down to like, hey, can somebody else make a shot besides Steph and Jimmy? Or I kid you not, Steph and Jimmy are going to have to combine for 80 points, probably, because I just don't. It's just a matter of, hey, can this happen? And if the panic meter is like how realistic is a loss, it's like, yeah, it's high. If the panic meter is my personal emotions tied to it, hey, I feel like a horse who's ran his last race. Okay, so um, they could lose this game, and they very well might. And if they do, we'll know exactly why. There's not really any questions. I'm going to pause this real quick. Sorry, guys, but I want to get your thoughts on the Jonathan Kuminga insertion questions that are being tossed around right now. Do we need to see that in Game 7? Do you want to see that in Game 7? Where are we at with that for a quick little interlude?
All I'm gonna say is that the whole Kerr quote where he said, "Yeah, he 100% could be in the rotation." That's just like he's healthy. Anything's on the table. I think we're reading too much to it. The fact that it reads more like a threat than like a optimistic thing, I think really just kind of tells you all you need to know. It's just like, yeah, you guys are playing so unseriously. I might have to put him in. That's kind of the vibe that comes off from that. So I don't know. I mean, if he's in, Wolf, that's not good.
More likely to get minutes on
I
Sunday,
mean,
Pat Spencer or Kuminga.
I I would go Pat
oh
Spencer, man.
God,
Like I want to see. Look, and we'll get. I guess we can kind of pivot it to like Game 7 adjustments. That's what I want to see. I want to see Pat Spencer, Guy Santos, and Trace Jackson Davis get minutes in a Game 7. And as crazy as that sounds, look, man, none of the other role guys have really stepped up. Like Pods had that one good game. Buddy, obviously, earlier in the series, we don't win those without him. But in a Game 7, especially with these two big lineups, and just the lack of boards. I want the guys that give us size and can fucking showing some dog in the series. Pat Spencer's not back down. He's just able to get to the middle of that zone regardless of who's on there. Like we saw with the bench guys, we saw with the starters. And granted, it was game 5 where they were down by 30. But look, I'd rather see Pat. Like I think the problem the Warriors are having right now is they're just trying to shoot themselves out of this zone, which theoretically works, but it doesn't when you go whatever it was, 1 for 16 on open threes. So you need a guy that's going to get in the middle of that zone. I thought it'd be Jimmy. They did it a couple times yesterday, but that two big lineup is kind of forcing them out to, they're not looking into the paint to shoot. So if you're able to get a guy like Pat Spencer who's just able to get there off the dribble, it just gets guys open. Again, it's going to come down to hitting threes, but I just don't think this is a Gary Payton type of series. He's been pretty terrible all season, all series.
I think he's a
Um,
minus 46 in the
yeah,
series.
and like I know you put him in the starting lineup yesterday to guard Van Vliet. I think you go back to your starting lineup, Buddy and GP off the bench, bring in Moody and Pods, see if you can just get that kind of spark that you had that the team that went 18-3 that started. But yeah, on the Kuminga thing, like look, hey, it's a game 7, man. If something happens, like we've seen game 7 heroes come out of nowhere. I refuse to believe Jonathan Kuminga is going to be that, but hey, if
You're,
it
you're
ends
giving a
up,
lot of laser beam pointed at Earth. I want Pat Spencer energy right
yeah,
now.
I'd rather have a lot more guys that are not playing right now than Kuminga, but I do think that look, if you my thing with Kuminga has always been, can you play the GP role? Can you be in that dunker spot and guard guys on the ball? Hasn't really been great in the dunker spot. On ball defenses, they had that Jalen Green clips of like 3 plays this series. So hey, maybe that changed something. But no, I just think it comes down to I mean, like as cliche as it sounds, Game 7's always come down to who wanted more. And the Rockets, the last 2 games, have wanted it way more. They're getting all the hustle plays, getting all the loose balls, all the rebounds. So part of it is the size. The Warriors just don't have an answer for Steven Adams, besides hopefully signing him in the offseason. But yeah, overall, like panic meter wise, like I'm 50-50. I'm with you, Matt. I think hey, they could lose this game, for sure. But you also have the 2 best players in the series, theoretically, and with Steph and Jimmy. So
Well, let's pause the theoretically. They have the two best guys in
they
the
have the two
series. They
best
also
guys, but
have
if Fred VanVleet shoots 16 for 23, like Steph hasn't shot that. And like I love Steph, obviously, but it comes down to who's going to make more shots. The Rockets, I fully believe it's a game 7. They're a young team. We've seen that team, that franchise go over 27 in a game 7 with seasoned guys. It's going to be a different atmosphere tomorrow. It's going to be another absolute knife fight, but you like your chances with, Steph and Jimmy in there, but again, it comes down to can you hit shots, and they haven't been able to do that for 3 straight games.
yep, no, I'm with you. And yeah, like on the panic meter too. Like I think we both, we've all watched enough of that Minnesota series to know like what's waiting. Um, I like playing another very good defensive team that's more athletic and that has guys that can actually score, like multiple of them. Like we're getting swamped in that series. Like I have no doubt about it. Like yeah, Steph, Jimmy not doing their best. Like this is not going to go well. So like I can only be so panicked about like, oh well, even if we win this, like we're just headed into a wall right after. And even if you somehow pull that out, it's like, okay, great, we made the conference finals. Here's the Thunder. Yeah, like whatever. And we also knew going into this, like Jimmy was not the final answer for this team. He was a huge part of the answer, but we knew that this postseason is like a measuring stick. It's trying to figure out what else does this team need. Um, the frustrating part is, I think they need a lot more than we expected going into this, and that part is frustrating. But it's not like this. If they lose tomorrow, the most devastating part is that the Rockets finally got one, and that one of the most annoying fan bases in the sport finally has a victory. Taroya Eason won't shut the fuck up about her son being the second best player on the Warriors. He was there. Um, just general weirdo stuff. Like that's the part that's going to frustrate me because we're just going to have to deal with that
Terry
all off
Eason's
season.
mom is the reason we can't let the
Oh, for
Rockets
real,
win.
dude.
Is
That she is annoying as hell, man.
That's
I
all.
respect
That's
talking shit, but I do not want to see that franchise, that team, anybody on that team's family to have any sort of good celebration happen tomorrow.
Yeah,
I want,
she
I
was also
want.
throwing some stuff out there where she was just implying that like everyone from San Francisco is gay or whatever. Like, fuck her. Like she sucks. Um,
Should have
like,
swallowed.
but
insane.
that's
Well, we're gonna
that's what it comes down to. It's just like I don't want to hand them a moral victory, because I just want to leave with one more CTE inducing event on Rockets fans. Um, So I'd say, yeah, the panic meter is pretty low. Like, if they blow it, it would suck. But I think blowing a 3-1 lead in the first round to a team that you really could beat, um, is just going to be a wake up call for the offseason. Be like, we need to do a lot more. So, if you lose, it sucks, but it's going to be an impetus for them to go out and make some more aggressive moves. I think the worst thing that could happen is if they just like stumble their way all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and then they're just like, "Oh well, we were one of the four best teams, so we need to just sit there and do nothing." And I know this sounds like cope, but like we know this is not a championship team, so I just want them to like be honest about that with themselves and act like it into the offseason, regardless of what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's a great
yeah.
point. Like this, the off season, and again, the whole window now is if this is year one of a 3-year window, with the third year being like the final year of everybody's contract. So next year really is your all in. And again, I'm with you there, Chuck. Like I don't want to lose this game purely because I don't want to lose to the Rockets. Not from if we get swept by Minnesota. I got love for Ant. I like that team. I'd honestly love to see them win a championship this year. It would be sick. So I would have zero problem losing to the Timberwolves. I do not want to lose to the fucking Rockets. So I think it's a good, like you said, good kind of wake up call for the front office, to say, hey, we got two guys, but we don't have anybody else outside of that. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think panic meter wise, that's a good kind of reassessment of this is
The
not going to be a
off-season pod is
championship.
gonna be
Yeah,
the
offseason
off-season
pod's going to
pod's
be
gonna be
good.
Monday or a week from Monday. So
Now we'll get a Minnesota
Yeah,
preview
pretty
on Monday.
much.
We're getting a Minnesota preview on Monday, and then kind of taking our bets of if the Warriors can keep that Steph Curry playoff streak of under 6 games alive in this one, because it's gonna be a tough one. But all right, man. Game 7 predictions. What we feeling, Matt? Lead us off, man.
I think it's healthier for me to predict a loss. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say it's a loss and our Warriors are going home. Um, and the off season starts. I can start, casually rooting for Ant or the Celtics to beat what's supposedly the next generation or next second coming of the 17 Warriors in the Thunder. So, um, yeah, I'm going Warriors loss, and we're getting our Joel from The Last of Us moment, guys.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think I'm right there with you. Like, it'd be one thing if they had lost games 5 and 6 off just like, oh, these two teams really went toe to toe, but like Rockets just made the right plays or they made big shots or whatever it is. The Warriors just like did not play well. They did not come out with intensity. They did not solve the problems that were before them. They just relied on their stars to bail them out both games, and it didn't work. And that's why I just think, I mean, all the momentum's with them. They want it more. And would I be completely shocked if the Warriors just came out like really intense and like we are not doing this again? Like Steph and Draymond are like, we cannot have this on our resumes, like another 3-1 comeback. Wouldn't shock me, but I'm not banking on it.
Man, I hate this energy, man. We're winning tomorrow night. And what convinced me of it was there's a clip of Cannon Curry crying after the game, and Steph being like, "Hey, there's a game on Sunday, man. Don't worry about it." So I just refuse to believe Steph's gonna let Cannon feel like that again, at least for not another week. So it's not losing the Rockets. Warriors winning tomorrow night. Um, we just got the experience, man. I think Game 7 experience is huge. We've seen it. This Rockets team's not a good shooting team. They're coming back down to earth. If Fred VanVleet keeps us up, GG's. Honestly, like respect. Have fun getting throttled by Minnesota. So this is really just kind of a game to see who's gonna get beaten five. I'll see. But no, Warriors win. I think they move on, and then we'll have a fun Minnesota preview pod and also kind of a Minnesota congratulatory. Hey, so you guys are gonna dust us. So, nah, tomorrow night's the season. I think it's gonna be a pride thing, and you've got some of the most prideful dudes on your side as well. They haven't played well in the last couple games. They're still a very good team when everything's clicking. So I think we finally. I refuse to believe it's hard to beat a team three times in a row. Regardless of it took LeBron and Kyrie a suspension, injuries, and then all-time games from them to pull it off. So, granted, that was a better team, but still, I'm taking Steph and Jimmy Butler in a game seven on the road. But yeah, Warriors win, move on, and then maybe just rest everybody game one against Minnesota.
You know what?
Get four
It's
out of
not the
six.
dumbest thing I've heard
Don't hate
today.
it. I think
Okay.
Steve Kerr said it if they lost that playing game. I don't think that's the worst idea if they end up losing or if they end up winning tomorrow night. Just tank game one. Pat Spencer show, go steal one, dude. I got faith in Pat, dude. He's one of my favorite players now.
Bring back next year for Gotham. It's Jimmy, Steph, and Pat Spencer on the roster. Everybody else
Absolutely. And
is.
Gee, and Gee. Give me those guys. Give me those guys, and we can go hoop.
I like E man, but that guy's look like he's had brown shorts on for a few possessions out there, dude.
Hey, he's hustling. He's hustling. He's doing things that guys aren't doing. I've seen him hit some open threes this series. Hey, it's game seven. Roll him out there. See what sticks. But yeah, guys, we'll see Monday, Sunday night. Game seven. Can't really script it anybody. We got two this weekend. Should be fun. Fun hoops, regardless. Tomorrow's gonna be a fun one. I know we're gonna be all over Twitter, texting each other, texting whoever, maybe DMing Tar Easton's mom after we win, telling her to go kick rocks. But until the next episode, guys, it's gonna be a Warriors T Wolves preview pod. I'm speaking it into existence. But till then, we'll catch y'all guys. Have a good one. Enjoy Game 7. Peace.